This 82-year-old veteran enters Judge Caprio's courtroom for what appears to be a minor parking violation. But when he rolls up his sleeves and reveals something he's kept hidden for 6 decades, Judge Caprio responds in a way no judge in American history ever has. What you're about to see will truly leave you speechless. This story went viral across the internet, moved countless people to tears, and even led to legal changes in several states. But before we begin, only 4% of those watching are subscribed. So take a moment to hit that button. This story is going to be everywhere, and you'll want to see how it unfolds. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this moment inside a Providence courtroom became one of the most shared clips in online history. It's a cold February morning in Providence, and the municipal court is bustling with its usual rhythm. Judge Frank Caprio, the 76-year-old known around the world for his fairness and empathy, is working through his morning docket: parking fines, minor traffic offenses, and small municipal cases. At exactly 10:15 a.m., the courtroom doors open and 82-year-old Robert "Tank" Johnson steps inside. Using a cane for balance, his movements are slow but steady. He's wearing a thick winter coat despite the warmth indoors, and his hands tremble slightly as he removes his military-style cap. Tank's here for what looks like a simple issue: a $75 fine for parking in a handicapped space without displaying his permit. On paper, it's the kind of case that should take no more than 3 minutes. Pay the fine, give an explanation, and move on. But before we continue, I want to know, where are you watching this story from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to see how far this story travels. Are you tuning in from New York, London, or maybe Tokyo? Let me know below. As Tank approaches the defendant's stand, Judge Caprio immediately notices something subtle but striking. Despite his age, his cane, and the frailty that comes with time, the man stands tall, with perfect military posture. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes forward. It's instantly recognizable. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Robert Johnson, the clerk announces from the docket. Tank takes a slow step forward, both hands gripping his cane. Judge Caprio looks down at the paperwork, then up again at the man before him, his expression calm but attentive. "Mr. Johnson," the judge begins in his familiar, kind tone, "you're being charged with parking in a handicapped spot without displaying your permit. The violation occurred on February 8th around 2 p.m. outside the Veterans Administration Medical Center. The fine is $75. Tank nods. "Yes, Your Honor." "Mr. Johnson," Judge Caprio continues, "I see that you're 82 years old. Do you have a handicapped permit?" And when he answers, his voice carries a quiet weight that instantly changes the tone of the room. The steady tone of a man who's spent a lifetime giving and receiving orders filled the courtroom. "Yes, Your Honor, I do have one. I just forgot to hang it up that day." Judge Caprio, with more than 3 decades on the bench, had heard this explanation countless times. Normally, he would ask to see the permit, maybe reduce the fine if it existed, and proceed to the next case. Nothing out of the ordinary, but something in Tank's voice, his manner, and his overall presence made Judge Caprio pause and take a closer look. "Can you tell me about your disability, Mr. Johnson? Help me understand why you need the handicap permit," the judge asked. Tank shifted uneasily. His eyes dropped to his hands, then glanced around the courtroom before returning to the judge. For several seconds, he stayed silent. "I'd rather not talk about it, Your Honor," he finally said. Judge Caprio set down his pen. A small gesture that signaled a real conversation was about to begin, rather than routine paperwork. Leaning slightly forward, his tone softened. "Mr. Johnson, I can see you're a proud man. You carry yourself with strength and dignity, but I can also tell you're facing something difficult." Then came one of Judge Caprio's signature gestures. Whenever he sensed genuine pain, he would step down from the bench and approach the person directly, removing the barrier between them. "Tank," he said gently. The use of the nickname caught the man's attention immediately. "May I call you Tank? I can tell you've served. The way you stand, the way you compose yourself, it's unmistakable." "Which branch were you in?" Tank's entire posture changed. His chest lifted slightly, his shoulders straightened, and for the first time a faint smile appeared on his weathered face. "United States Marine Corps, Your Honor." "3 tours of duty," he said proudly. "3 tours," Judge Caprio repeated thoughtfully. "That's remarkable service. Where did you serve, Tank?" Tank drew a slow breath. "Vietnam, 1968 to 1970. Then Iraq, 2004 to 2005. And Afghanistan, 2007 to 2008. Did you catch that? This 82-year-old man didn't just serve in his youth. After living a full civilian life and retiring, he chose to return to war zones, serving in Iraq in his 60s and Afghanistan in his 70s. That level of commitment is rare and deeply moving. Judge Caprio was visibly touched. "Tank, you served our country in 3 different wars over 4 decades." "Yes, sir," Tank replied. "Sincerely thank you for your service," the judge said. "That's extraordinary dedication to our nation." Then, with calm respect, he continued, "Now, Tank, please help me understand why you need the handicapped permit. What's happening? How can I assist you today?" Tank looked around the courtroom. About 30 people were present. Other defendants, court officers, reporters, and families. His hands trembled slightly as he tightened his grip on his cane. "Your Honor, it's complicated." Judge Caprio stepped a little closer. "Tank, we're all friends here. There's no judgment in this courtroom. Tell me what's going on." Tank inhaled deeply, then slowly rolled up the sleeves of his heavy coat. The room fell silent. His arms were covered in scars, deep, uneven marks left by shrapnel from battles fought long ago. But what caught everyone's attention was something else. On his right forearm, running from wrist to elbow, was a tattoo unlike any military insignia. Not an eagle, anchor, or flag, but a list. A long, carefully inked list of names. "Tank," Judge Caprio asked softly, "what are those names?" Tank's voice trembled as he spoke, emotion breaking through for the first time. After years of hiding the pain behind long sleeves and silence, he finally revealed the truth. "Those are my boys, Your Honor. A Marine I lost under my command. 47 names across 3 wars. I carry them with me every single day." The courtroom is utterly silent. You could hear a pin drop. Even court officers, hardened by years of cases, are quietly wiping away tears. Other defendants watch with deep respect. The court reporter has paused typing, listening intently. But Tank isn't finished sharing his truth. "The handicapped permit, Your Honor. It's not really for physical wounds," he says softly. "Sure, my legs don't work like they used to, and my back's worn out from decades of carrying heavy gear, but that's not the real reason I need it. It's for the days when the ghosts are too loud to ignore, when panic hits me in a parking lot, and I have to get inside before I completely lose control. When flashbacks hit so hard I can't walk straight, can't think clearly, can't remember where I am or even what year it is." Judge Caprio's eyes well up. "Tank, are you saying you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder after serving in 3 different wars?" "Yes, sir," Tank replies. "Most days I'm okay. I wake up, make my coffee, do my therapy, and live my life. But there are days when the memories take over. The faces of my men, the sound of mortars, the smell of gunpowder and blood. That parking ticket you're holding, Your Honor, February 8th. That was one of my worst days in months. I was in my truck outside the VA hospital having flashbacks so bad I thought I was back in Fallujah. All I could think about was getting to my appointment before I broke down completely. I forgot about the permit, the rules. Everything but getting help." What Judge Caprio does next has never been seen before in an American courtroom. He breaks every rule of judicial procedure and creates a moment no one will ever forget. Slowly, he stands, walks over to Tank, and begins removing his black judicial robe. "Tank, I want you to put this on," he says. Tank looks startled. "Your Honor, I can't do that. That's your robe. I'm just a defendant." Judge Caprio's tone turns firm, though still filled with emotion. "You're not just a defendant, Tank. You're far more than that. Put on the robe, Marine." With trembling hands, Tank allows the judge to drape the robe over his shoulders. The heavy fabric hangs on his frail frame, Yet somehow, in that moment, he stands taller than ever. Then, something even more extraordinary happens. Standing bare-armed in his own courtroom, Judge Frank Caprio salutes Robert "Tank" Johnson, a sitting judge saluting a defendant. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, his voice echoing through the chamber, "this is what true American heroism looks like. This man volunteered to serve our nation not once, not twice, but 3 times over 6 decades. He carries the names of his fallen brothers on his skin, and their memories in his heart. He has given more for our freedom than most could ever imagine. And today, he stood here concerned over a $75 parking ticket." The entire courtroom rises. People are crying, applauding, and saluting alongside the judge. Court officers clap. Defendants stand in respect. The sound of applause fills the room for nearly 2 minutes. Tank stands there in the judge's robe, tears streaming down his face, overwhelmed by a recognition he never expected and never sought. But Judge Caprio isn't finished. "Tank," he says, "not only am I dismissing this fine, but I'm making you an honorary member of this court. Whenever you need help, when the ghosts are too loud or the system fails you, call us. This courtroom will always stand with you. And those 47 names on your arm? They're not just your burden anymore. We'll help you carry them." Guys, let's pause for a moment. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Stories like this remind us what real heroism and compassion look like. This is exactly why this channel exists. Hit that subscribe button right now. What followed after this video went online showed the true power of human kindness. Within 24 hours, it had been viewed over 5 million times. Within 48 hours, Tank received more than 10,000 letters from veterans, active duty soldiers, and civilians worldwide, all thanking him for his service and sacrifice. A stranger started a GoFundMe campaign that raised over $500,000 to support veteran PTSD programs in Tank's name. Major companies, IBM, Microsoft, and General Motors, reached out, offering him advisory positions to help improve veteran support within their organizations. The Department of Veterans Affairs even used Tank's story to launch a new awareness initiative on mental health care for veterans. But the most inspiring part came 6 months later. Tank returned to Judge Caprio's courtroom, not as a defendant but as a volunteer counselor, helping other veterans navigate the legal system and connect with the care they deserve. Judge Caprio didn't just dismiss a parking ticket that day, Tank told reporters. He reminded me that my service mattered, that my brothers who never came home mattered. He made me see I wasn't just a broken old man taking up space. He gave me purpose again, a reason to keep fighting, not just for me but for every veteran still struggling in silence. Today, Tank speaks at schools and universities about military service and mental health. He's helped more than 200 veterans find proper care, and he still carries those 47 names on his arm. But now, he also carries the knowledge that their sacrifice has meaning and continues to inspire others. And now, I have one question for you. One I truly want you to think about. What's the most powerful act of kindness you've ever seen? A moment where someone's compassion changed everything? Share your stories in the comments, because after hearing about Tank and Judge Caprio, the world needs more reminders of good. If this story touched you, if Tank's sacrifice and Judge Caprio's compassion moved your heart, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video if you believe in honoring our veterans. Subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us of what's possible when we choose kindness over indifference. And remember, sometimes, the most meaningful thing we can do is simply acknowledge another person's sacrifice and let them know their service matters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.